General Hospital spoilers reveal that former young and the restless actor Daniel Goddard will join the cast of General Hospital, expected to play Professor Henry Dalton at Port Charles University. This is an exciting development for the fan community as they eagerly await to see how Goddard will portray his new role. Professor Henry Dalton, a new character introduced in the storyline, will not only have a significant impact on the lives of the current characters but also open up new opportunities for evolving and more intriguing plots. The new dynamic between Professor Henry and the students in Port Charles is beginning to take shape, with Trina and Kai seeming to become part of this storyline. The appearance of Professor Dalton creates an interesting situation for both, as they face challenges together. Trina, with her intelligence and decisiveness, has quickly become curious about the classes that Professor Dalton teaches, especially when he introduces topics related to human psychology and the unexplainable. The discussions in his class have sparked Trina's intellectual curiosity, pushing her to explore deeper into the complex relationships between people and how they interact with the world around them. Kai, who has struggled with personal issues related to his health and identity, has also been drawn to Professor Dalton's presence. He begins attending the professor's classes, where he meets new classmates and encounters fresh ideas that he had never considered before. Professor Dalton, with his experience and knowledge, has become an inspiration for both Trina and Kai, helping them view the world differently. A new shift is occurring as the connections between Trina, Kai, and Professor Dalton start to form. All three are at crucial turning points in their lives. From Trina trying to navigate college life to Kai struggling with difficult decisions about his future. Professor Dalton, with his position, has been able to connect with both on various levels, from supporting them in resolving personal issues to offering serious advice on how to face the challenges ahead. One significant change emerging is the way Trina and Kai are beginning to form a new relationship through Professor Dalton's class. They have started working together on various projects, using their analytical and problem-solving skills to explore the deep psychological topics that Professor Dalton has introduced. In the process, they've discovered new sides of each other. Trina now sees Kai as a close friend and intellectual partner, while Kai begins to see Trina as someone who understands and supports him during tough times. As Professor Dalton introduces new topics related to psychology and human behavior, both Trina and Kai are quickly drawn to the intellectually stimulating discussions. They begin to question how people interact with one another, what factors influence our decisions, and the psychological secrets behind every action. This curiosity has created an interactive learning environment where both teacher and students can learn from each other. With Daniel Goddard's participation in General Hospital, viewers can expect exciting twists and memorable interactions in the weeks to come. The blend of intellect and emotion from the new characters with the beloved ones will open up captivating and dramatic storylines that Port Charles has never seen before. As Trina and Kai continue to explore the deep world of psychology through Professor Dalton's classes, they will face new challenges and discoveries, not only about themselves but also about how they perceive the world around them. Professor Dalton, with his experience, may become a crucial figure in helping the characters navigate the crises they're facing. While Trina is dealing with the pressure of protecting her friends from new threats, Kai is trying to understand himself better and make difficult life choices. The combination of the professor's wisdom and Trina and Kai's intellectual curiosity will create a dynamic learning environment where everyone can grow together. Finally, Daniel Goddard's appearance not only introduces a new character but also opens up new opportunities for complex and exciting storylines. Fans are hoping that his role will help shed light on the mysteries in the coming weeks, and they will be eager to see whether Professor Dalton turns out to be a good or bad character in the plot. Regardless of the outcome, his presence in Port Charles will undoubtedly be a pivotal part of the upcoming events in General Hospital. A new crazy story is unfolding as the dark technologies once used by Caesar have mysteriously disappeared, raising many speculations in the Port Charles community. Caesar, who had used these technologies to manipulate people's minds, was once a dangerous figure. But with the disappearance of these technologies, many thought the threat was eliminated. However, it appears that Professor Dalton might discover that the mind control technologies used by Drew are actually still very much in play, and this is not a coincidence. It's part of a much larger plan than anyone could have imagined. One of the new adjustments emerging is that Professor Dalton begins to research and uncover that the technologies Caesar used were not completely destroyed. Instead, they have been secretly preserved and even improved by a new organization, with Drew Kane being one of the key players. Drew, along with Ezra, has been secretly developing these technologies for new, more dangerous purposes. The mind control technology they possess is a significant advancement in manipulating and controlling human behavior, and this is making the situation even more chaotic than ever. As Professor Dalton delves deeper into the mechanisms behind Drew's mind control, he realizes that this is not just a simple technology, it's part of a larger program to control human minds and behavior. This realization forces him to reconsider his involvement in discovering and preventing this technology, an involvement that could put him in a dangerous position when facing powerful figures in Port Charles. Trina and Kai, who have started to explore the world of deep psychology through Professor Dalton's class, have inadvertently become involved in his investigation into Drew's mind control technology. They begin to sense that something is wrong and decide to support Professor Dalton in uncovering the truth. As the story unfolds, fans are witnessing one of the most dramatic and thrilling storylines in General Hospital's history. Professor Dalton's discovery of dark technologies and Drew's involvement in mind control research are pushing Port Charles into a battle not only over power but also over intellect and strategy. The entire town is holding its breath to see what happens next in this confrontation, and whether Professor Dalton, along with Trina and Kai, will be able to stop those who seek to control people's minds. The appearance of the WSB director and new clues about Drew's involvement in illegal activities are also raising many questions about the level of WSB's involvement in these technologies. Is this part of a larger conspiracy to control not only Port Charles but the world? And could Professor Dalton, with his knowledge, be the key to exposing this entire network? As events continue to explode, each character is faced with difficult choices. Will they stand up for justice to protect Port Charles from those who want to control people's minds, or will they take the easier route and turn a blind eye to what's going on? Port Charles is entering a period of turbulence and drama, and fans are eagerly waiting to see who will come out on top in this battle of intellect and power. A new crazy story is unfolding with plans to take down Drew, creating a dramatic situation in Port Charles. After discovering Drew's involvement in developing mind control technologies, Professor Dalton realizes this might be his opportunity to mitigate his dark plans. Every move Drew makes could be part of a larger strategy to manipulate and control those around him, and Professor Dalton is deciding to strike at Drew's weaknesses using this very technology. One of the new adjustments occurring is when Professor Dalton starts executing a bold plan to activate the darker sides of Drew. He has realized that the mind control technology Drew possesses might not only be used to control the behavior of others but also to examine Drew's own deepest thoughts. By tapping into these thoughts, Professor Dalton hopes to uncover the secrets Drew has been trying to hide, secrets that could become weapons to use against him. Before embarking on this plan, Professor Dalton spent considerable time studying mind control technology and how it functions. He read all available materials on the topic, consulted with experts in psychology and neuroscience, and even participated in some small experiments to better understand the mechanics of the technology. With this knowledge, he formulated a detailed plan on how to use the technology to activate Drew's darker mental sides, hoping that this would reveal signs of a larger scheme Drew is involved in. This plan involves not only Professor Dalton but also Nina and Portia. Nina, with her experience dealing with intelligent villains, became a key player in gathering information on Drew and his activities. She began using her resources to search for any signs of Drew's involvement in illegal activities while also assisting Professor Dalton in analyzing the data he collected. Nina demonstrated a deep understanding of Drew and his psychological mechanisms. Having dealt with difficult situations in the past, her experience helped her see the bigger picture of what Drew was trying to achieve. She also realized that Drew is no ordinary adversary. He has power, influence, and a vast network that could make any challenge difficult. Portia, as a doctor and Trina's mother, also joined the fight. She provided her medical expertise to help Professor Dalton better understand the workings of the mind control technology and how it might affect the human mind. Her deep knowledge of psychology and neuroscience helped Professor Dalton's team piece together a more comprehensive picture of Drew's plans and how this technology operates. When this plan is set in motion, both Drew and those around him will face a series of challenges and upheavals. Drew will struggle to maintain control as the darker parts of his mind are activated, while Nina, Portia, Professor Dalton, and Trina will need to prepare for the results of this activation. If successful, this could provide them with vital information to oppose Drew and stop his plans. But if it fails, the consequences could be severe, not only for their group but also for the entire Port Charles community. The trouble is escalating as every move this group makes could be detected by Drew. If he realizes that an attack is being made to trigger his darker sides, he will stop at nothing to protect himself and his plan. This could lead to a dramatic confrontation between Drew and Professor Dalton's team, with each side prepared to bring their intelligence and experience into this intellectual battle. As this confrontation unfolds, it will not only affect Drew and Professor Dalton's team but also their loved ones. Trina and Kai, who have inadvertently become part of this adventure by attending Professor Dalton's class, will face unforeseen dangers. They will have to use all their intelligence and quick thinking to help Professor Dalton's team gather information and execute their plan. Ultimately, as this storyline continues to unfold, fans will be left waiting to see whether Professor Dalton's team can succeed in taking down Drew and what the consequences will be for activating the darker sides of Drew's mind. One thing is certain, this battle will not only change Drew's life but could also reshape the balance of power in Port Charles in the coming months. Meanwhile, other characters in town will face new challenges. Carly, in her roles as both a mother and businesswoman, will have to decide between fully supporting Professor Dalton's team and protecting her family from potential risks. Sonny, with his experience in dealing with dangerous enemies, may join the fight as a strong ally to Professor Dalton's team. Jason, who is always ready to protect what's his, will play a crucial role in confronting Drew. With the combined intellect and experience of these characters, this battle promises to be one of the most dramatic showdowns in General Hospital history. As each step is taken, Port Charles will witness a struggle not only for power but for loyalty and human will. Professor Dalton and Nina could become the new power couple, a development that could shock and shift the power dynamics in Port Charles. As these two characters begin working together to bring down Drew and stop his mind control plan, they discover a connection that goes beyond strategy and becomes personal. One of the new changes occurring is that the relationship between Professor Dalton and Nina gradually evolves from colleagues to a potential couple. Both have strong and intelligent personalities, and their collaboration in overcoming the challenges posed by Drew has laid a solid foundation for a deeper connection. As they spend more time together, they begin to realize that in addition to the respect and admiration they have for each other professionally, they also share common interests and similarities that were never explored before. The strengths of both lie in the diverse intellect and experience they bring. Professor Dalton, with his deep knowledge of psychology and technology, has provided crucial insights into how the mind control technology works and how Drew is using it. Nina, on the other hand, brings her experience in handling difficult and complex situations, along with her ability to analyze and solve problems smartly. This partnership not only helps them confront Drew effectively but also lays the foundation for personal development and a new relationship. One of the new developments that fans are starting to see is the possibility of a new power couple emerging from this collaboration. Unlike typical couples, the relationship between Professor Dalton and Nina will be built on mutual respect and trust, with a shared goal far larger than anything they've previously considered. As this couple becomes more prominent, they will not only face challenges from Drew but also from various reactions within the Port Charles community. Carly and Sonny, the powerful women and men of the town, may have differing responses to this developing relationship, from support to skepticism about its stability. Jason, as a trusted friend and ally, will need to adjust his approach toward Nina as she begins to build a new life alongside Professor Dalton. Meanwhile, Drew will seize every opportunity to exploit potential cracks in the relationship between those opposing him. He will likely attempt to sow doubt and instability within the alliance of Professor Dalton and Nina, using every trick to undermine the trust and stability of their bond. This will turn the confrontation into a battle not only between Professor Dalton and Nina against Drew but also between their friends and allies. As the situation continues to evolve, fans are witnessing one of the biggest shocks in General Hospital history, a new power couple with the potential to completely alter the town's power balance. The journey of Professor Dalton and Nina will not only be about taking down Drew but also about building a new future for themselves, a future where they can face the challenges and changes Port Charles is witnessing together.